Jean Ordinfall spent his childhood on his family's farm, just south of the Duvet Forest. His parents, Derlin and Macy, had raised him well, teaching him what he needed to know to one day take over. Financially, they did quite well for themselves, carting their crops to nearby towns and cities for sale, although the frigid weather that often surrounded their home did not make it an easy life. As is the case with most youngins living the farm life, Jean eventually sought to see what else the world had to offer, and so he left in search of what opportunities the neighboring city had for him. It wasn't long before he realized the city life was not his to live. The boy who left, though, had become a man, and the man had met a woman, a blacksmith's daughter by the name of Cerithia. They fell for each other quick, and before they knew it, their love blossomed into a marriage and a son. The son they named Derlin, after Jean's father. Jean eventually returned home to his parents' farm with his family, where they made a life for themselves, a new life for his wife and son, but one all too familiar to Jean. They were happy. That is, until the day vile creatures from beyond the veil made their way into their home. After being driven from his homeland by the insatiable undead that now plague it, Jean seeks out those brave enough to aid him in cleansing his land of the foul fate that befell him and his family, and exacting the vengeance he so eagerly thirsts for.
As a child, Celeste Highcrest would never have dreamed of leaving the sheltered life of luxury she had become accustomed to. Born to two noble parents in a land far beyond the Vale, Celeste's childhood had been fraught with expectation. Her father, High Archivist Saran Highcrest, had set high standards for his two children, and the elder of those two elves, Celeste's sister Cressida, had surpassed all of them. Cressida had found her talents at an early age, her nose buried in books, and magic coming to her as easy as breathing. Celeste, however, had struggled in the shadow of her sister's success for as long as she could remember, never quite meeting the expectations of her father, and always the object of his disappointed glances. When the two elves came of age, they sat the entrance exam to join their father at the sanctum, to become mentored under his tutelage and scribe ancient texts in the archives. Cressida, to no one's surprise, had passed the exam with overwhelming success. Celeste, on the other hand, held true to her long-standing tradition of always being second best. It was rare that one should ever choose to leave their homeland, but never being able to escape the constant overshadowing from her sister, Celeste had decided it was finally time to break free of this tradition. For here, she would always be Cressida's sister, never her own person. But if she were to leave, perhaps she could finally forge her own path. She found her way to the dimension door, stepping through for the first time and finding herself in a land strangely familiar, yet unlike anything she had ever experienced. She boarded the first ship she came across, bound for the kingdom of Quell, and spent years travelling these oceans between continents, desperate to find something worthy enough to bring home as tribute to her family. Until one day, the news found her. The door that she had stepped through to enter this plane had vanished, along with every other door that could lead her home. Now stuck, seemingly an entire universe between her and her homeland, Celeste is searching for answers, and some miracle that could lead her home again.
A young half-elf, Tam Cauthon grew up working the land with his father and learning herblore and healing from his elven mother. After a horrible childhood accident, he swore he would avoid violence, unless he had no other choice. When the war came, like every Cauthon for generations before him, Tam enlisted to fight for his king. During the bloody battle for King's Helm, Tam's selfless efforts to heal his friends caught the eye of the celestial Aethia, and she became his patron, giving him the gift of celestial healing. His courage in battle did not prevent him from drawing the ire of his superiors. His compassion was blind, and he would heal all in need, even the enemy. After the end of the war, Tam worked as a healer in the villages outside Crackvolm, hoping to save enough money to gain entry to the Healers Guild. After a series of unfortunate events, Tam finds himself in debt to a very wealthy and very criminal cartel boss. Pinned between his compassion and his new master, Tam tries to make the best of his situation, dreaming of a day where he can live his life in freedom.
Ingue grew up in an exclusive, reclusive community of druids. His elders, ancient and wise, one of the greatest, his mother, was a great storyteller, and he grew up sharing their stories. While the community has very strict rules and customs and routines, each member is encouraged once in a lifetime to travel out into the world and experience the trials and tribulations, bring back their challenges to share and to tell the story of the world.